talked about why banks need to do this, but how are they actually achieving that? What kind of technologies are banks using to meet customer demands and sort of boost efficiency at the moment?
Okay, it's a great question. But I think if you really look at IT, there's an information and technology. Traditionally, information technology department of most banks, they have started to drive technology, not so much the information, the I part of it. It's all about getting the I part of it right. It's about bringing the rigor into the I part of it, which means that essentially it's about data mining. It's about having a central ownership for the information that the bank needs to handle, right? Today, that information is spread across a plethora of applications with varying ownerships, with the result lack of accountability and lack of the right rigor means it leads to certain amount of financial indiscipline and taking the wrong decision based on inaccurate data and so on and so on, which leads to certain other business challenges, including compliance issues.
Sure.
Right? So it's all about getting the information right, the information architecture right. So the banks are really, from a growth perspective, they are investing in data mining, they are investing in product bundling, they are investing differential pricing, they are investing in customer loyalty and rewards programs, and a greater sense of predictive analytics, so to speak. So all this means that you are able to capture a better customer behavior and be in a position to offer the right products at the right time, right? And one of the key things is the ability to launch products in good time with the right level of configurability and personalization, right? And that's on the growth side. On the efficiency side, it's all about getting the right infrastructure, consolidation of the infrastructure, and consolidation of the application landscape, and making sure that the technology remains up to date, making sure that together between the growth side and the efficiency side, what we traditionally call as change the bank and run the bank, it gives an optimal cost infrastructure for the bank.
Sure. So one of the ways that all important information is actually distributed is increasingly mobile. And how is mobile technology being deployed at the moment, and what kind of differences are there across different business segments?
I think mobile is technology is growing on top of two or three things. First is that there is a greater adoption of smartphones, by people all across the globe, right? Second is that on the internet banking or online banking side, technologies have leapfrogged. Things like Java, Web 2.0, Web 3.0 means that customers want a very, very interactive, instantaneous and intuitive way of doing the transactions or doing the banking services, right? And given that the smartphone capacity today is much more than what it was 3 years ago, and it's pretty much can do all and more like a PC in about what 3 years ago can do, right? So from that perspective, you have the right tool, you have the right technology, right capacity, and you have the tools which are written in Java and Web 2.0, Web 3.0. Combining these two together, the banks are able to offer the same interactive, instantaneous features into the mobile, right? So you've got an internet channel, you've got a mobile channel, and that led to channel integration, right? So which means that typically today, banks are attempting to do transactions which can cut across the channels. You can pretty much start a transaction. Let's say you're looking for a loan on internet, right? And then you can start off in the morning, drop your kid in the school, then come back while driving. You can connect to the call center, pick up that same transaction, and pretty much complete it in the mobile or by visiting a branch during the lunchtime. This kind of a complete channel integration services is possible, and that's exactly what the mobile technology is all about, and that's what the technology is leading the whole business services into.
Sure. And at least partly on the efficiency side, green IT has been another huge buzzword over the last few years. And what do you see banks doing there?
Most banks have a green IT agenda, either knowingly or unknowingly, right? Clearly, it is the cost pressures and the regulatory pressures are pushing banks to adopt some of this, right? And broadly, there are two pillars in which most banks have or initiated some green agenda, right? One is reduction in IT energy power, right? And the second one is reduced paper consumption. These two, if you really look at it, almost every bank has embarked on some initiative or the other to do that, right? Reduction in energy consumption is achieved by delivering a computing infrastructure, the capacity that is needed for the bank by far less number of servers, right? Replacing simply the old servers, old equipments with the new, more efficient, more energy efficient servers means that there is a reduced consumption, number one, right? And reduced paper consumption is a result of initiatives such as enterprise digitization, which the banks have adopted, which means that every document like checks or the know your customer proofs, etc., all those things are scanned and digitized and available to all downstream applications, which means that people don't have to have the paper moved across. These two typically they are done, right? And they have resulted in significant amount of cost savings and direct or indirect contribution to green benefits for the bank and for the country, right? But there are some banks who have taken this initiative to the next level by teaming up with initiatives such as Green Grid or carbon registry and such other things, right? Which has really meant that there is a vision for the whole green IT program, and which is driven from the top, right? And that's really a business shift, right? People who have really done that business shift, they have reaped in far more benefits, and the society also very clearly recognizes those efforts.
No, I think it's quite obvious when some green IT initiatives might, I suppose, be accused of being routine cost cutting dressed up for PR purposes, but some people really are taking the tougher decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are some of these are really earth-shaking initiatives, and if you take a smarter data center design, for example, and reducing the number of data centers and adopting, let's say, hotspot cooling technologies and the like, contributes to a lot more carbon credits.
Yeah.
Right.